And so basically, yeah, the baby was able to have limbs back, and I thought that was really amazing how something that was so severe was able to be turned around and, you know, turned into something great, or not something great, but like something that the surgeon like was able to help and, like, you know, make the mother feel a lot better and allow the baby to have as normal of a life as possible. And then I also did another one on the Boston bombings orthopedic surgery hero. And it's basically a guy, during the Boston bombings, he was an orthopedic surgeon, and he ran straight to the hospital and started helping out and started doing surgeries on people, even though he could have risked his life. And I thought that was something that was very selfless, and something that I could look up to in the future, like, and somebody that I could be, like somebody who's not just thinking about themselves, but puts the patients first rather than yourself. And then I also did another one on unsuccessful hand surgeries. And basically, it was about how there was a bunch of hand surgeries that were going on, like this procedure that they were doing, and it wasn't working well, and, you know, patients were coming back with a lot of complaints about, you know, still having pain in their hand, or, you know, like, you know, their hand was like not feeling well and they were having a lot of problems with it. And basically what this taught me was that, you know, although orthopedic surgeons work as hard as they can, it's not something that you can always be perfect at, and it's also something that is constantly being improved each day. And then my last research assessment was on UNT, the UNT trip we took as an ISM group this year, which was a lot of fun. We got to sit in on some classes and see campus life. As a lot of us are seniors and, you know, looking forward to college, we were able to kind of get that college visit, and I was able to sit in on 2 classes. One was in chemistry and another one was in ethics, and I thought that was really cool. Then the second part of this class is the interview assessment. And basically, you go around the Metroplex and you look for people that are orthopedic, I look for people that are orthopedic surgeons, and then we just kind of interview them, kind of ask them about their job and things like that. The first person I interviewed was Dr. Lawson Copley. He was an orthopedic surgeon at Children's Medical Center, and he also is affiliated with UT Southwestern, which I thought was really cool. And basically what he dealt with a lot was musculoskeletal infections. He seemed like a very passionate person. He went to college in Illinois and went to Kentucky Medical School, did his residency at the University of Pennsylvania. And I just really liked something about him. He just seemed like someone that was like really passionate, someone I could look up to, and, like, you know, the type of person that I wanted to be in the future. The next person I interviewed was Dr. Maureen Finnegan. She was a UT Southwestern orthopedic surgeon. She worked in the Richardson Center, which I thought was really cool. She actually was able to give a different perspective. She went to the University of Massachusetts. She was actually a D1 athlete, played basketball. I thought that was really cool. And, you know, just, you know, being able to get those different perspectives, like different pathways, you know, each person that I interviewed had their different paths to get to orthopedic surgery. Like Dr. Copley was actually a philosophy major in college, thought he wanted to go into law, but then decided that he was going to do healthcare instead. And Dr. Finnegan always knew she wanted to be a doctor, but she was also someone who went through the athletic path, which I thought was cool. And then I also interviewed Catherine Coyner. She was another UT Southwestern doctor. She was from Canada. She gave me another perspective too, which was an international perspective on healthcare. And she actually was able to compare a lot of how the Canadian system works to how the American system works, since those were a lot of the questions I asked her, since I just thought that was really interesting, and just getting that, again, that different perspective. I also interviewed Frank Gottschalk. He was from South Africa, which was also very cool. And he's, you know, been working in orthopedic surgery a long time. He was a very funny person, something I remember very well. And, you know, he gave me another perspective on orthopedic surgery as well. And the last person I interviewed was Dr. Sean Haslam. And he was a team orthopedic surgeon at Lone Star High School. And so he worked there, and he also works at Centennial Medical Center. He was a very kind person. He was also from Canada. And, you know, was able to compare that system to the American system again, and I thought that was awesome too. In the end, I ended up picking Dr. Copley, just because of the type of person he was and how you could just see, like, the passion that he has for his job. And so he deals with musculoskeletal infections, like I said. He works at Children's Medical Center, and he also works at Scottish Rite Hospital. I was able to observe a couple surgeries from Dr. Copley. I was able to actually, one time I observed he was looking for like a thorn in a boy's leg, and, you know, there wasn't a thorn, which was good, and so it took a long time, and, you know, they ended up not finding anything, and that was good. And also I was able to watch he was able to fix a fracture in a boy's elbow. That was also very interesting. just being able to see it for the first time, like an actual surgery, I thought that was really cool. And being able to see something that I want to go into was like very exciting for me, something like kind of like a life-changing moment, just seeing that with my own eyes rather than on the computer. And a lot of what I did was I observed a lot of his doctor-to-patient interactions. A lot of the time he would just go into the room and talk to the patients, and I just kind of stood to the side and watched him. I thought, sometimes I felt kind of awkward doing it, but it was really fun because I was able to learn a lot about the type of person you need to be as a doctor, like when you're interacting with patients. He was somebody, when he goes in there and, even if the patients are feeling frustrated or the parents of the kid is feeling frustrated, he's just able to make everyone feel calm, happy, make everyone feel good about the situation, and, make them know that he's doing his best to make them get better, and he will make them get better. We also did a lot of discussing my product, and he talked a lot about improving the quality of healthcare. That's something that he was really passionate about, and he had this huge PowerPoint that he presented to me, and he also presented it to his hospital staff about how since he started working there, how much they've improved and how he wants them to keep on improving. And he just works with that kind of being efficient and lowering the cost and doing more work while lowering the cost, and that's beneficial to everybody, because the cost of healthcare is a problem today that is discussed a lot in the media, and he's someone that is very interested in that. And so when we discussed the product, we decided that I would actually go into something that would improve healthcare in some way, which was very exciting. What I've learned through all this ISM so far from that point was that it kind of needs a selfless attitude to be an orthopedic surgeon. Everybody that I talked to was somebody that wasn't in the profession for monetary benefits or anything like that. They were in it because they were passionate about what they were doing, and they were caring about their patients, not just themselves. It's a very demanding profession. It's one that is long work hours and a lot of schooling to do. But all the people I talked to, they told me it was worth it, and I should definitely go into it. And patient satisfaction is critical. That's something that I learned a lot through those research assessments and through Dr. Copley's, my patient interactions that I was able to observe with him. The profession changes every day. Orthopedic surgery is basically one of those type of professions where it's constantly being renovated, new procedures are coming up, and new technologies being incorporated into the profession. And so, when it's changing every day, you have to be someone that's willing to adapt. And it changes lives. It's something that, hundreds of years ago, if they didn't have orthopedic surgeons or good healthcare in general, and something that we would see today as kind of minor, they would see as something that's very, very serious. And it's more about workday. I learned a lot about what the type of workday is for each professional. Everybody I asked told me, they kind of get up really early in the morning, usually have a meeting or something with other orthopedic surgeons, then they go into doctor-patient interaction type of things, and then they start doing surgeries towards midday. And so it was very exciting to learn about that. And I also learned a lot about academic versus private practice. And basically there's you can go into academics, which is basically where you work at a medical school like UT Southwestern. And what kind of drove me to go look for people that were more at UT Southwestern is because this past summer I actually did research at UT Southwestern, and I thought I kind of already have gotten my foot in UT Southwestern. I kind of already know people there, and I just thought that it'd be really cool to again actually get a professional to shadow that works with UT Southwestern, and Dr. Copley does. And for my original work that I decided to do this year, I actually did a torn ACL rehabilitation proposal. And basically what I was going to do was, I was going to come up with a plan for somebody who tears their ACL, and through research and other rehabilitation proposals, I kind of thought about each one and talked to Dr. Copley and did some different things with him, and how I could kind of come up with a plan that would make people with ACL tears be able to heal as quickly as possible. And so first I started off with a situation, a hypothetical situation that I could come up with. And I said a high school basketball player attempts a jump shot, but unfortunately lands on his left leg incorrectly. This leads to his ACL, or anterior cruciate ligament, being torn. This is a ligament behind the knee. He goes to the hospital to find out he will be out of basketball for a while, but by following this rehabilitation plan that I have made, progress will be as quick as possible. And basically, a lot of people tear their ACL. A lot of time you hear somebody is out of sports for a long time, it's because they tore their ACL, and it's kind of a serious problem. And I thought that, if I could come up with a way that could speed up the rehabilitation process as quick as possible, that'd be great. And so the surgery that goes through, and so to repair the athlete's torn anterior cruciate ligament, an orthopedic surgeon must perform a reconstruction surgery. This consists of using a graft from a tendon, usually in the kneecap, to replace the torn ACL. This usually takes 60 to 90 minutes. So for month 1, I decided that you're going to need crutches for around 2 weeks, but the goal is to get the athlete off crutches and able to get the knee up to 90 degrees on their own within 3 weeks. The suggested workout, since you just tore your ACL, you want to do things that are very light on you, like stationary bikes and 4-way hip machine, and things that aren't like very demanding for your knees. And you can do upper body workouts, but mainly when you're trying to rehabilitate this anterior cruciate ligament, you're going to want to do things that are very light, like weightless squats and things like that. And you want to keep the leg well rested, and that's something that we're going to learn a lot through this original work, that rest is very crucial to, getting that process to speed up. And for month 2, I said crutches will still probably be needed, but the goal by the end of month 2 is swelling should be reduced and ability to straighten the knee and to straighten the knee and get kind of more normalized movement. The suggested workouts I said were light leg press and light leg curls, and although you don't have to do them weightless, you still want to do them to where they're not too demanding on you. And so, like I said, light leg workouts are great, and if you can, you might want to do some light walking or running and give the leg at least 8 hours of rest after exercises, and again, that rest is very important. And so crutches will probably not be needed by month 3. But by the end of month 3, we want to see that the knee should have kind of full range of motion and kind of have like a normal kind of movement to it. And what I suggested were leg press and leg curls and reclined leg raises. And so you can do more weight, but you still don't want to do anything like, powerlifting, which can, tear that ACL again, which would be really scary. Resistance leg exercises are very beneficial, but should not be intense. And again, you need rest. For months 4 to 5, I said crutches will not be needed, and by the end of month 5, the athlete will be able to jog without trouble, and legs should feel close to normal. Although they're still not completely normal yet, you want them to feel normal, and that's kind of the goal you want by the end of month 5. And so I said single leg cord stretches, step ups, and walking lunges. Still do those weighted leg workouts, which are really beneficial, and you still want to keep rested. For months 6 to 7, you should be able to train with your team by this point, but you still don't want to get into games or do any powerlifting and things like that, because you kind of want to solidify the progress that you've made before you start doing something really intense. And you still want to stay rested, and throughout your life as an athlete, you always want to get good rest, because those are the type of things that get ACL torn or get you stretch your hamstring and things like that. But you can do any exercises that your team's doing, but you still don't want to necessarily play yet. And by the end of month 8, which is the last month, you can basically do everything with your team and be a full athlete again, but you just still want to make sure that you watch out for all those ACL tear kind of things that cause it. And so what I said, the ways you can prevent it in month 8 and for the rest of the time you're an athlete, you can build your core strength, because that having a weak core, studies have shown, is what causes ACL tears a lot. And you want to work on balance each day. Another thing that causes ACL tears is just like not being balanced when you land. For example, the athlete that I came up with who fell on his left leg, it's like kind of a balance thing. And you also always want to stretch and practice safe jumping and landing, and always be well rested, like I said. Now, my product for this year, me and Dr. Copley decided that it was going to deal with improving healthcare. And basically what I decided on my own, I said that I thought of ways that you could improve healthcare and something that I could actually do within the time that I was given. And I thought that I could actually come up with a patient satisfaction survey, which I thought was, that's something that's quite interesting. Dr. Copley in his patient in his PowerPoint, he showed us a lot of patient satisfaction surveys that they had come up with and the type of feedback he was getting from the patients that was positive. And I thought that, if I could come up with a patient satisfaction survey that's kind of shorter, more efficient, and kind of like catchy, something that patients will want to do, then that'd be a great product. And so after, discussions with Dr. Copley, I came up with an effective plan. To create the patient satisfaction survey, I decided I was going to do it through interviews with patients. I was going to do it with research, look at other patient satisfaction surveys and kind of pull ideas from those. And also the patient satisfaction feedback that Dr. Copley had. He had this huge packet of all the patient feedback that he was given over the years from patients. And, it had negative feedback, it had positive feedback, and so it was kind of unbiased. And it was also kind of it was a voluntary survey, so it was also kind of added that unbiased to it that I could use to like the type of things that patients are looking for. And basically, I came up with this acronym for it, and it was called the CTOY survey, and I thought that was kind of a fun, catchy name, and each letter stands for a different component of patient satisfaction, which was comfortable, timely, organized, informed, and then at the end of the survey, you want to learn about the patient, like what type of person the patient is, to get more kind of specific data that you can pull together. I know this survey I created will be able to have real-world applications because hospitals everywhere will be able to utilize the information. And I think that if a hospital could like implement something like this or kind of take ideas from it, that'd be great, because patients being satisfied is something that's really important in healthcare, and something that I've really learned that through this ISM process that is very crucial. And so in conclusion, this year in ISM, I've grown not only as a professional adult, but also as a person. This has driven me even more to pursue a profession in healthcare and has also motivated me to reach for the sky. I've had my ups and downs in ISM, but I truly love the experience and have learned a lot of valuable lessons. This class has been a lot of work, but I think that it's all been worth it, just, seeing everything play together and, seeing the huge portfolio that we made over the year and, just seeing it all kind of come into one place. I thought that was awesome. And it also taught me a lot about time management. We had a lot of things that we had to submit each day, and just being able to know, just kind of keep a schedule in your head or write it down that you need to turn this in here and turn this in here. I thought that was really cool too. And just going out into the real world in a suit and kind of feeling professional and important, talking to adults, and just kind of working on the way you talk to people that makes you feel comfortable. Every day we walked into the class, we shook Miss Goff's hand. That also was very, very beneficial, because I shake Dr. Copley's hand every time, and I feel really good about it. And so to finish off, I have a quote, and it is, "We must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us." And that's a quote by Joseph Campbell, who is an author and a philosopher. And basically what that means to me is, when you go through life, we kind of all have like a plan, something like a plan for ourselves that we kind of like always push onto ourselves and, stress out about. Like, a lot of seniors applying to college, if they didn't get into the college they wanted, they were like, oh, my life's over, but it really isn't. Because at the end of the day, from the day you were born to the day you die, there's been a plan for you, and I feel like there's always been like a set future that we all have, and that from the day you were born, you were going to get into that college, or from the day you were born, you were going to have this mentor, not this one. And when things don't work out, just understand that it's for the better. And if an opportunity doesn't come your way, it's fine, because there are going to be tons of other opportunities. And in the future, you might say one day, like, I can't believe I ever thought that this was a better opportunity for me, because I love where I am now. And that's the end. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much to everyone that came out. I know you guys all have busy schedules, and I also want to say thank you so much to Dr. Copley, who has been so kind to me and so helpful and informing to me. I think that's just awesome of him. And I just want to say thanks to Ms. Goff for giving me a chance to be a part of this class. And so, yeah, done.